We are on Chapter 9 of Magic Tree Houses, number 33, Narwhal on a Sunny Night. Chapter 9 is called The Midnight Sun. "Jack," Annie whispered, "wake up." Jack rubbed his eyes. "Where is everyone?" he asked. "I just checked. They're asleep at the other end of the house," said Annie. "We have to go." "Now?" said Jack. "Maybe we should wait until daylight." "No, they might get up before then," said Annie. "You're right," said Jack. He threw off the warm fur and sat up. "Let's go," said Annie. She picked up the burning oil lamp. Jack grabbed his bag. As they crept to the door, snoring came from the other end of the long house. They stopped at the bench by the door. In the dim light of the lamp, they put on their coats, hats, and mittens. "We should write a note to Leaf," whispered Jack. "Good idea," said Annie. Jack pulled out his notebook and pencil from his bag. "How's this?" he whispered as he wrote. "Dear Leaf, we had to leave suddenly. We are borrowing your rowboat to go back to the bay. We will leave it where we met you. Many thanks to you and your family." "Perfect," said Annie. "And let's leave him our map since he liked it so much." "Good idea," breathed Jack. He tore the note from the notebook and placed it on the bench with their map. Jack and Annie pulled on their gloves. Then Annie opened the door, and they slipped out of the house. It was freezing outside, but to Jack's surprise, it was sunny. "What time is it?" he said. "I thought it was night." "Me too," said Annie. "But no one's around, not even the dogs. Hurry!" Jack and Annie took off down the hill. In the cold, windy sunlight, they hurried to the shore. Small waves were splashing against the moored Viking ships. Leaf's rowboat was tied to the pier near them. Jack and Annie stepped onto the pier, and Jack untied the rope. Just as he and Annie were about to climb aboard, someone yelled, "Stop!" "Oh, no," said Annie. Leaf was limping down the hill toward them. He held their note and map in his hand. "I heard you leave," he called. "Then I read your message. I must take you to your ship. It is not easy to row in windy waters." "But your knee still hurts, I can tell," said Annie. Leaf shrugged. "That's not important," he said. "We should go quickly so I can return before morning." "Morning? I thought it was morning now," said Jack. "It is close to midnight," said Leaf. "You have come in the time of the midnight sun." "I get it," Annie said to Jack. "On a day that seems endless with no dark of night." "Right," said Jack. Now he remembered the midnight sun. In the far north the summer sun can still be seen at midnight. "Here, you forgot this," said Leaf. He thrust the map and note into Jack's hands. "You will need your map to sail your ship home." "No, we won't," said Jack. "We know the way." "You need it more." He handed the map back to Leaf. "Oh!" Leaf stared at the map as if it were made of gold. "I cannot believe you would give me this," he said in a hushed voice. "Thank you very much." "No problem," said Annie. Leaf smiled. "Let us go," he said. Jack put the note into his coat pocket. Then he and Annie climbed aboard. Leaf sat across from them. He began rowing through the choppy water. "Tell me about your land," he said. "What is it like?" "It has everything," said Annie. "Mountains and valleys, and oceans and rivers." "And lakes and forests and grassy plains," said Jack. "And farms and small towns and huge towns called cities." With the wind at their backs, Leaf rowed swiftly. The water was bathed in a gold mist. Soon Leif rowed the boat from Eric's Inlet into the bay. "You can drop us off there," said Jack. He pointed to the shore where they had saved the Narwhal. "But where's your ship?" asked Leif. "Uh, I'm really sorry, but we promised the person who owns it that we would not show it to anyone," said Annie. "I understand," said Leif, nodding. "We must always honor our promises." "You should hurry home before your mom and dad wake up," said Annie. "They'll be worried if they find you missing." "Yes," said Leif, smiling. "They will think I have sailed away with you. They know I am eager to travel to faraway places." Leif rowed to the shore, and Jack and Annie hopped out of the boat. "Goodbye," the Viking boy said. "Thank you again for your map. I promise I will make good use of it." "And I promise you will have great success," said Jack. "Do you think so?" said Leif. "Absolutely," said Annie. Leif raised his arms above his head and clenched his fists. "Yay!" he said. Jack and Annie laughed. Leif waved goodbye. Using his oars, he pushed his boat offshore. "I hope your knee feels better soon," called Annie. "I have already forgotten about it," Leif called back. Then he rode away through the soft light of the Arctic night. "Leif's really tough and brave," said Annie. "He'll make a good explorer." "Yeah, a great one," said Jack. He took a deep breath. "I guess we can go now." Jack and Annie walked around the bend in the shore. Annie gasped. "Jack, look!" she said. "What?" said Jack. "There, in the water, at the edge of the ice," said Annie. "A narwhal," whispered Jack. "Yes," said Annie, "our narwhal." That's the end of the chapter.